Holy crap. Yeah. How's it going, everybody? No, I didn't actually forget. Okay, I was sitting right here. Yes, Oogla Boogla. Radio EVPs. Oh, you want Haagen-Dazs? Okay, great. The ghost wants Haagen-Dazs. Did you hear that, everybody? Hey, look at that. Well, no, it said, give me some too. It's amazing. Hey, by the way, I thought it would be what we should do right now is play the entire Gerry Holman interview that he did on Fox 59. Of course, for some reason, I shut down that screen, so I'm going to have to go find it again. But hold on a second. I know exactly where to get it. All right. All right. And by the way, Nenny C, the first comment on this entire chat was just her with that big grin all the way across. Like, what was she laughing about? Like, look at where is this one? Oh, I don't know where it went. I think it's too far up there now. Yeah, that right there. Like, it wasn't even, the show hadn't even started yet. It was just like I set a reminder. And then she typed in that long, with 4 crying, laughing. I'm glad I have that effect on some people, that I can just make them laugh. All right, just moving over to the right screen here. See, I think a lot of people haven't seen this, and it's actually really interesting to listen to now, way after the fact. Yeah, all right. Oh, by the way, there was a press conference on that other case that we were talking about earlier in the day, but wasn't really much new in that. Apparently they haven't found her suitcase yet. There wasn't much new, to be honest with you, but I might come on later in the evening and go over that one. But right now it's the day 4 of the Delphi call-in, but first we're going to do a recap of the old Gerry Holman interview from Fox 59. It's actually a really good interview. So what I'll do right now is I'll put the link in the description. I'll put it under sources, and then you can check it out at your own leisure, or leisure as they might say. Yeah. So here we go.
So tell me, obviously you guys, see this one posted all over online. People want to know, you have all this evidence in this case, and still 6 months later, no suspect in custody. What would your answer be to the community?
Well, it's not like on TV. You see on CSI shows that they solve them in 2 commercial breaks. So it takes a lot of.
So you got. Here's the thing. You got to love Gerry Holman, man. He just says it like it is. Like every time I've talked to him, that's what it is. It's just, And he has the same kinds of things I say about Facebook people and social media people who just throw out a bunch of garbage all the time. And I think that's later in the interview, but it's great to hear, It's nice to have, like I would say all this stuff and then he said it and then I would play what he said and go, see? That's exactly what I've been telling you guys. So, anyways, here we go.
Times, and
is it too quiet for you guys?
We want to take our time, make sure our I's are dotted, T's are
I can
crossed.
Turn it up some.
This is a tough case. This is a tough case.
I think it's only mono, too.
I think alleged a lot of evidence, but really we have very little evidence evidence in this case, and we're working with what we have.
See, very little
Getting
evidence.
A ton of tips, which helps, but some of those tips.
So let's go back a little. What did you say?
Evidence in this case, and we're working that they solve them in 2 commercial breaks. So it takes a lot of times, and we want to be very thorough. So we want to take our time, make sure our I's are dotted, T's are crossed. But this is a tough case. There's, I think, alleged a lot of evidence, but really we have very little evidence in this case, and we're working with what we have. We're getting a ton of tips, which helps, but some of those tips are misleading and kind of leave us disarray and get us unfocused.
He doesn't look anything like the sketch, okay, idiots? He just looks like himself. Good God, my God, Jesus Christ.
State, federal, and local agencies, and we use all the resources that are available, and we're going to continue to do that. We're not going to
Everybody looks like the sketch. I look like the sketch.
Because we're still getting information.
All right.
So we're going to continue to work as hard as we can on this.
To have, and you say little evidence, which, you know, I'm not a detective.
God, if I see that again, I'm going to block anybody who says that shit.
The guy's voice.
It's so stupid. You look like a moron when you make comments like that.
Their audio and video and all these tips, and then maybe the reward money. Is that more than people usually have in a case like this?
Yeah, I think so. I think
I bet when you get up in the morning, you look exactly like the sketch.
More
Okay?
than enough to make a case, but we're just not getting that break yet. You know, we're still getting closer every day. We're eliminating. We're getting a lot of tips on people that didn't do it, and we eliminate those daily. So it's like I said before, it's the needle in the haystack, and we get those tips on so and and we eliminate them by however we do that, and that just takes another piece of the hay out of the way, so we can start focusing, and eventually it's gonna be there. So we keep working, but
Why can't you hear him?
and I think
It's totally
a lot of
clear,
people are
loud.
misled by some of the Facebook postings and social medias.
Well, the thing is, it is mono, so if you don't have the right speaker, then you can't hear it.
Not as helpful as some people might think. So
So 6 months ago, you got the phone call. I know we've talked about this before. Who called you and said first, Abby Williams and Libby German are missing?
I think I heard it on the radio actually, and then I called the sheriff to see if they needed assistance, and he said, yeah, we're probably going to need some help. That was when they were missing, and then of course we got our helicopter involved, and we were still in the search.
Well, I know I'm
phase.
louder than the video.
And then obviously once we located him, it was a double homicide.
Look, I mean, it's weird how I always have to show this kind of stuff. See, here's the regular audio level of the video.
Then we called in.
Okay, but right now, you guys hear me well. The audio level of the video is really low, so when I boost up the entire system audio so that you can hear this guy, my voice is going to sound like thunderclap out of the skies, okay? So here we go again.
Other resources throughout the state police and then the FBI, and I know we've had just a ton of resources and people volunteered to help, which is good. So that's how that started, and now we're here. We're still working. We're still motivated, and a lot of people. It is stressful. It's a very stressful case, obviously, and it's very easy to get emotionally tied. But I think everybody involved is still doing well. We're still motivated. We're still optimistic that we're going to catch this person that's responsible for this, and we're not letting up or giving in or anything like that. We're stronger than ever. We're actually getting more people involved. So I think time's coming. We're getting closer every day. I know that's cliche, but we're eliminating people, and we're working harder than ever. So.
And within the first 48 hours of that case, so here you are, you hear it on the radio, you step in, which thank God really that you guys stepped in so quickly, because look how it ended up happening. I mean, first comes out 2 missing girls. You'd think 2 missing girls in this small town, who would have thought this was ever going to be the case? But what was the investigative work that happened in the first 48 hours, without obviously going into too much detail to put the case in jeopardy?
Well, I think you secure the scene, you start doing area canvas, talk to everybody in the area. We have the crime scene investigators there. Just basic steps that you would do. Collecting video throughout the areas, doing things like that, and just from ground zero. That's what you would do in any case. Start.
Yeah, you guys should pay attention to what they're saying, what he's saying in this.
We call that an area canvas.
It answers a lot of questions.
Because it's a rural area, we had to kind of stretch that out a little bit, and So we did maybe a general area canvas initially, and then maybe a day or two later we spread that out, come back, make sure, because it was February, so there were still people at vacation or winter snowbirds they call them, and so there were still some houses that we didn't make contact right away. So, but we have now. I mean, we continue to do that, and now 6 months later, we're still getting new tips on people, so we're following up on those. But we have a group of detectives that are assigned to go back and make sure we didn't miss anything, review things, and so we're taking it very serious, and we're not.
I don't know if you've seen it. I've seen it a million times.
I think your biggest fear when you're doing an investigation is something might slip through the cracks. We're not going to let that happen. We have a team of people that keep going back.
So this is from August 2017, right? So 6 months after the girls were found. Okay.
Reviewing, and we're getting there. Like I said, we're working harder than ever, and we're going to continue to work hard.
When did the people come forward that mentioned, because that sketch behind you, it's pretty detailed, like we said, and the guy who did it, and obviously unbelievably talented, because he maybe didn't have a bunch of information, but it's unbelievable what they could come up with, right, and make it into this composite sketch that could end up helping crack the case. But when did those people come forward that said they saw him possibly near the trail?
Well, that's a good question. It's actually compiled. It's not just from one person. So we've had several people say that they saw the person that we identified through the video that we obtained off of Liberty's phone, and we put that out. So once people saw.
Okay, again, did you hear that? That they obtained off of Liberty's phone. Okay, so again, there's another portion where there's no doubt that they had the phone. Okay.
That photo, then they said, "Oh, I saw that guy. I saw that guy." Well, we have to determine, is that the guy they saw first of all, and if it is, then let's work together. So. We were getting calls that night and throughout the last couple months. Some people don't watch the news. Some people don't really follow, what's going on. So some of them were. And
also right there, he said that it was multiple people who saw this person out at the bridge that day, and this is a sketch based on what all of them told them.
Sooner than later. But then we took our time with that. We took our time. We interviewed. The composite drawing itself took probably a week and a half to 2 weeks because we wanted to make sure it was exactly right as the people that recalled that. So we have been, I think, getting better tips. Obviously, the first photo is pretty hard to see. It's pixelated pretty bad.
And this is one of the guys I talked to him.
And we want to make sure people know this might not look exactly like the person, but it's going to have the similar facial features. So this is just what the person or persons that we've interviewed over the last several months believe this is what this guy looked like. So, I mean, there's 4 of us in this room right now. If somebody walked in this room for 30 seconds and you left, we'd all have different drawings. But I think the facial features and the major identifiers we would all get right. So that's what we're hoping, that this gives us a little more guidance, a little more not as vague. So, and it's helping. We are getting better tips. We're still getting some not so good tips, I would say, but we're getting a little better tips.
Well, here's the thing: is how do you know? How is a tip better if it doesn't lead to anything? All right. I mean, so they're all bad tips until you get the one good one. Or a tip that actually helps lead to the killer.
Tips from this composite drawing.
Is it a few people kind of that possibly saw him? I mean, was there like more than a couple that called in, right?
Yeah, I would say that was a good statement. There's more than a few that said they saw him. Now, like I said, we have to determine there was other people on that trail. Are they actually seeing the guy that is responsible for this, or are they seeing somebody else that was just out there walking?
In time frame wise, I mean, how long do you think he was out there that day? I mean, had he just kind of stopped by, tried to find, if he was planning this, tried to find somebody that was walking off the trail and thought, hey, this would be a good target, or was he just out there for a little bit?
I wish I could tell you that. I have theories, but the evidence is pretty, like I said, the evidence doesn't really indicate how long or if he was a traveler or local, and some of that we just speculate on. We can't really say he is or isn't, but we just have to go off the evidence that we have, the positive drawing, the video, the audio, and just continue to rely on the community. I still believe somebody knows. Somebody knows what happened. For whatever reason, they won't come forward. And we wish they would, obviously, because this person's probably going to do this again. And I'd hate for that to happen to you or your loved ones. And that's the message I want to get out to the public, is if you do know, for sure you need to let us know so we can possibly stop this from happening again to your daughter or your mother or sister or anybody. It could be brother or father as well. So.
And personality traits of a person like this, and that's I think what people have thought about before. I mean, for him, if there was just one person, and this is the guy, he was able to get both of these little girls.
Yeah, he was actually he went to the FBI for, like, God, I don't remember, it was like weeks of training, and then came back.
Girls in the woods and do these, brutally murder them. Do you think he possibly had done this before?
You could be. I mean, this is kind of our theory or speculation. We have no evidence that he's done it again there. But we do keep that in mind. We do check with other states to see if they have anything close. And obviously the case in Iowa is probably the closest.
See?
But they don't even know.
See, like he does, they have been in communication with the case of Lyric and Elizabeth in Iowa, because there are similarities. And they're saying that they don't even have a manner or a manner of death in that case because of decomposition.
The cause of death in that one, because they didn't find the victims until later, so it's hard to compare. But it is similar, but so we take that into consideration as well, and we have investigated that. We've been in contact with Iowa, and they've been in contact with us, and we've discussed that, but nothing else seems to be popping up around the nation that is similar to this. But doesn't mean he's going to kill everybody the same way every time. So
I'm sure they have information like that.
When you walk down, and I
Boot prints, footprints.
That was private property, right, where the bodies were found. Looking at logistically from where they were on the bridge, and then to where their bodies were found. I know we talked about the terrain in the past. I mean, it's not an easy thing to navigate. Usually, you might have to be familiar with the area. I mean, would it have been difficult for the girls to travel from where they were on the bridge to where they were found?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it would be difficult. Obviously, they have to go through some pretty steep terrain and wooded area, sticker bushes and things like that. So it's and then to cross the creek. I mean, obviously, is February is probably not the warmest. It was a warm day that day, but still.
Yeah. See, the thing is they still all conflate the temperature. I've actually seen 3 sites now that all say it was 43 degrees that day. It was just sunny, so it felt warm. And later in the week, it got sunny, really warm. And everybody, when they think back to that time, they think of how warm it was. And that's really the truth of what's going on here. But nobody ever wants to go back and actually go, well, god darn, man, it was only 43 degrees.
Cooler than the air temperature. So, yeah, it would have been difficult I don't think anybody would say, hey, let's, on a walk, would walk that way. So.
Walking back that way, and I wasn't even there when you guys found all these horrible things about at the crime scene, but even just walking through that area, you get like an eerie feeling, and you kind of almost feel sick to your stomach because you think about what Abby and Libby went through, what their families are going through, and the fact that he's still out there. When you had to go to the crime scene like that, you covered, I'm sure, dozens of murder cases, but this has probably been one of the hardest for you having kids as well. Did you get a sick feeling as soon as you had to go over there?
Oh yeah, I think everybody, obviously when 2 young girls are brutally murdered and you're there to investigate it and see what you have to see and do what you have to do, you become
okay, I'll boost it up more for you guys. There you go.
Think about your family and friends, but I think what keeps me going is I try. I've said this a million times. You try to put yourself in these families' shoes, and you just can't do it. I can't imagine what they're going through. So I try to put my emotions aside and focus on the evidence.
Right, that's what I do.
On how can we bring justice for Abby and Libby and for the families. Is that going to do it if we make an arrest? I think it will help. I don't think anything can ever bring them back, obviously. I don't think anything can ever make them the things like they were before February 13th. It's never going to happen. but we want to try to bring some closure to the families for the girls. And so even though we're all trained professionals and we've done this many a times, it's still hard. It's still hard to shut your brain off at night and go visit with your grandkids or visit with your family and not think about it constantly. So it's difficult, but we're here for a reason. We're here to find out who did this, and that's what we have to keep telling ourselves and keep being remotivated or motivated to do that. And that's what we're going to do.
That area where the bodies were found too, when we went down there, because you guys kept that crime tape up for a while. I mean, you were still going back down there, right, and retracing the steps and looking for anything that you might have needed to go back, to the scene to check out. So when you went back down there, so that area that was taped off, that area was where the bodies were found. Then, right, that circular, that taped off place.
Yes.
That's where, when we walked down, obviously all the investigative work had been done and they had taken away any evidence had been found. Was there a decent amount of evidence found at the scene?
Well, I think so. I think, without getting into detail, I think, like I said, we don't have a lot of
earlier you said
evidence,
there
but
wasn't.
we do have more than, maybe your normal crime scene. We have the evidence there that we're processing and daily and working on. And still, it's been 6 months, but there's different techniques that you can use and things like that. So I'm not a lab person, so I can't, talk in lab language. But I'm in contact with them weekly, if not daily, and they're telling us, we're still doing this, we're still working on things. So
people still already don't know who this is. Still don't.
It's hard to say without jeopardizing the.
That's when you know somebody hasn't
investigation,
followed
how
the
much
case.
Evidence we had, or because. There's 3 people, in my opinion, maybe more, but at least 3 people that knew what happened that day. 2 of them are dead. So that one person knows the details of the crime. That's why we don't like to talk about the details and what we found, what we didn't find, because when we do get that person and we do talk to them, they're the only ones that are going to know the details of this. And that's another reason why we don't like Facebook putting false information out, because then people believe that, and then they tip off of those details that are false, and it just kind of impedes our investigation a little bit. So,
was DNA evidence found at the scene?
Well, yeah. Obviously that's the tricky question nobody wants to answer, but I think at every crime scene you're going to have DNA. You're going to have the victim's DNA. You're going to probably have victims' families' DNA. Touch DNA is very powerful. So if I touch your shirt today, that DNA could still be there for weeks, if not months. So we're still working on identifying whose all DNA we have there, and we will continue to do that until we determine who all's DNA is at the scene. So
if this guy, thinks he possibly got away with it.
See, that's the thing. It seems so weak. That's why I always say the DNA part. There is DNA, but maybe they haven't even isolated it yet to the actual killer, right?
And that's one of the things too. I know that you guys are waiting. Possibly, he could start talking about it to people, because that's happened in other cases.
Well, it wasn't a lousy answer. It was
I got
just
away with
the
it,
truth.
And then they start trying to brag about
That's
it, which is
what the
something
truth
you guys
is.
are following up on every day. But if he thinks he got away with it,
Just because you
and
didn't
thinks
like
he
it
cleaned
doesn't
up
make
the
it
scene, there still could possibly be something that he left
lousy.
absolutely. So yeah.
That's powerful, though, for the community to know too. Because
Right.
they're like, that's like, I know you mentioned that's a question that nobody really wanted to get too much into when we talked to the sheriff and things, but you mentioned any DNA. DNA's from the girls, DNA's at the scene, just from other things. But that's important that you guys are running that through and working with the lab. And then, is there anything that happened within that first 48 hours and you stepped in too? Like, you volunteered immediately to have Indiana State Police come in and help out the sheriff's department. Is there anything you think that could have been done differently that could have put the case in jeopardy in those, in the beginning stages?
Absolutely. I think, when you Monday morning quarterback, there's things you could have possibly done a little better, a little quicker. Now, is there anything we did or didn't do that jeopardized this case? No. I think that with the FBI and the county and the state and all the resources that we've used, there's really nothing that we could have done more. But, I'm my own worst
Other than release more of the video early on.
critics. Are there things we could have done better? Yeah, absolutely, and that's every case. But we
And more of the audio early on.
We continue to learn from that, and again, like I said, we didn't do anything or not do anything to jeopardize the case, but are there things that we could do better? Yeah. So, as Jay Harper with the state police, the lead investigator, we have Tim
I
Kendall
already
also
answered
with the
that.
state police lead
August
investigator.
2017.
And then my job is to kind of manage this. So I've been trying to manage this from day one, with the county, with the FBI. So that's an obstacle in itself, trying to manage something this big. But we've had plenty of guidance from
link's
all
in
of
the
our
description.
supervisors, and such a great team. I mean, we obviously have gotten along with Carroll County pretty well, and unfortunately through other
He wasn't taken off the
instances
case.
happened because life doesn't stop. So unfortunately, we still get major crime scenes that we have to assist with here, and manpower issues. I mean, we all have them. The county shorthanded, the state police shorthanded, FBI. Everybody needs more. So if you're out there, apply for the state police next time. We
Who
definitely
the hell
need
said
help.
that? Jesus.
Yeah, need some new
Yeah.
recruits. Tell me, with the audio, which we heard, I remember the first time that was played at that press conference, and that was, I mean, bone chilling to know that you're going to be able to hear this person's voice, even though it was just that tiny clip. But what he was saying gave away, some clues.
What do you mean he seems enthusiastic discussing the case? He's just discussing it like a regular person. I don't think he looks like... Does anybody think he looks really exuberant? Like, yeah, I can't wait to be talking about it. He's just discussing the case like an adult. God. Why don't you just, every once in a while, when you watch these damn interviews and shows, just watch what they're saying. You're not sleuthing anybody out by trying to think, oh, this might be the killer. He's a little bit too enthusiastic. It sounds ridiculous, okay? You embarrass yourself when you make comments like that. Just listen to what the hell he's saying. You might learn something, all right? Just every once in a while.
As well, but what has that been able to do for the case, having that voice out there?
Well, I think it's helped a lot. I mean, obviously, it's a distinctive voice. We've been
Sorry
getting
about
a lot of
that.
tips off of that. Unfortunately, the people that
I'm not sure
people
why
think
that's
it is,
even
we've been
showing
able to
up.
eliminate.
I don't
them.
have that on.
Not all of them, but most of them we can eliminate through checking records and things like that. So, but I think it's helped quite a bit. And I think as we get into this deeper, it's going to help us even more. So,
Is there more audio that was found on Libby's phone?
yes.
Is that something that would be released?
See, look how he just immediately said yes. There was more audio. See, there's a lot. This is like a treasure trove. Like they almost went backwards in time. And I know I'm really loud, but you guys wanted me to turn up all the audio, so I probably sound really loud. But I mean, he's just literally telling truths back then.
Not at this point. We've discussed it, and at this point, we don't think it'll help the investigation at this time. It doesn't appear to be anything more than some discussions between the girls and things like that. So, and we've only released a portion of it. There's some others that we think could help us.
Yeah. Oops. Yeah, see that? I mean, it's interesting, right? Because, whoa! It's so loud. Holy crap. Thanks, Mitch. Da-da-da, that's the Love Boat. Exciting and
Hi,
new.
freaks.
Hey, thanks. I'm not even sure. Oh, yeah, it must be because that's through... I don't know why those are playing. I have all of the Streamlabs stuff turned off. So I do not know why that's playing. But it is, so I apologize that it's loud over the video. Okay? You just have to deal with it. Deal with it. All right?
But again,
Yeah, but what he was saying is just like I've been telling you guys, they're having a conversation, like, "Hey, is that guy? Is he right behind us?" And then Libby says, "Mm-hmm." Then they're probably saying, "There's nowhere else to go on the end of the bridge, right? There's nowhere to go." They're just trying to make small talk, like Basically, Libby's kind of making small talk, pretending to just be talking about something, and has the phone down by her side, filming the guy from a distance. He's 60 feet away at the time. And then he keeps walking up, and then probably when he was about 30 feet away, Abby's just about getting off the end of the bridge, and then shortly after that, he goes off the bridge, but he probably, when he comes by, he says, "Hey, guys," and then Libby probably said, "Hey," something back like that. And then maybe some things were said back and forth again. We don't know. And then he said, "Get down the hill," just like that. Oh my God, did you hear how Grace said that? It sounded just like it. Oh, put his face next to Holman. All right.
And protecting the integrity of the investigation is the key here. So we can't release everything we have because there's only certain people that know the details. And if we release everything, then we get into possible false confessions.
Man, that is some loud stuff there. Thanks, Jennifer. Is that loud to you guys?
Deal with his face with tears of joy.
All right, thanks. We're almost through this.
And people over exaggerating, embellishing information and put it on Facebook like we already battle with. So we can only give so much.
Facebook thing, I know that's been a huge, that's had a huge effect too on the family. I mean, and that's like, probably a few years ago, if this case would have happened, or like a decade ago, that wouldn't even have been a thing. Has that
Here you go, everybody.
Oh, absolutely.
All right, all you people, all you little newbie YouTubers and all the people that think, "Oh, well, that's so interesting and so fun and cute." Just listen to what he's saying right now.
Pretty battle with, so we can only give so much.
Facebook thing, I know that's been a huge, that's had a huge effect too on the family. I mean, and that's like, probably a few years ago, if this case would have happened, or like a decade ago, that wouldn't even have been a thing. Has that interfered with the case?
Oh, absolutely. I talked to some of the older investigators. They didn't have to deal with that. When I talk about some of the stresses of social media, I mean, I've had tip on me from interviewing with other stations.
Look at that. And we had idiots like that in the chat today.
Officers,
amazing.
For whatever reason. We've had people that do their blogs that put out false information, and then if I tell them that's false, and then they embellish and
let's do that one more time.
Social media. I mean, I've had tip on me from interviewing with other stations. Absolutely. We've had tips on other police officers for whatever reason. We've had people that do their blogs that put out false information, and then if I tell them that's false, and then they embellish and tell people that I'm giving out details of the case, which were.
What's hilarious is they have his face next to that face, and he looks nothing like that person. His nose doesn't look the same. His eyebrows aren't the same. Maybe the bridge of his nose slightly. The lips don't look the same. He has no goatee. He weighs more than that person. The ears are every freaking thing is different. But all you can see is, oh! You think you're onto something. And I wish you realized how absolutely idiotic you sound, okay? You look like a complete moron when you type stuff like that in. Unbelievable.
We're not. I will try to squash any rumors that people call and ask about without jeopardizing the integrity of the investigation. But yeah, then, I can't imagine what the family's going through just because of the incident. But now you have social media with all these rumors and false implications that just got to be driving them crazy. And I talk to the family quite a bit and try to tell them, don't believe everything you hear on social media. I think it could be positive, but what I would say is instead of posting on Facebook, call us before and let us investigate it, because once you put it out there and it is false, then it interferes with our investigation.
Looks absolutely nothing like the guy.
People start tipping
except if you want
false
him to.
Information, and we follow up on every tip.
Look, here's the main part is right in here.
Them,
listen.
Don't believe everything you hear on social media. I think it could be positive. But what I would say is instead of posting on Facebook, call us before and let us investigate it, because once you put it out there and it is false, then it interferes with our investigation, and it bogs us down, because then people start tipping off of false information and we follow up on every tip. So I think social media is a challenge.
Wow,
for us.
great observation, Beth. Wow.
We're trying to utilize it to the best of our
He doesn't even
abilities,
look
but it
like
is
him
definitely
whatsoever. Okay.
something that interferes with our investigations
Ridiculous.
at
How
times.
often do you listen to the audio clip? I mean, you probably listen to the full one, but is that something that kind of gives you, when you're feeling down or you're feeling like, all right, here I am 6 months later, we have all these people working the case, you've put your whole life has pretty much been consumed by this.
Hey, Grassy Valley Greg, what does that mean? Who's trying to get likes? There's no likes. Nope, there's none of these dumb comments about, oh, he looks like him, can possibly get a like. So what are you referring to, Grass Valley Greg? I will start the show back up again as soon as you answer the question. All right? Well, it's up to you. Okay, cool. All right, there we go.
So, I mean, when you try to listen to that guy's voice again and look at that picture, does that kind of give you more momentum to be like, I'm going to find you?
I think every time I close my eyes, I hear the audio and I see the picture. I don't have to listen to it because I have listened to it a million times. But yeah, it definitely remotivates us to think about that. So yeah, it's there.
Do you think he thinks he got away with it?
Oh yeah, I think probably, but he didn't. We'll catch him. I mean, we're like I said, it's not from lack of effort, and we will continue to put all the effort that we have available and utilize all the resources that we have until we catch the monster that's responsible for this.
And this is something that I wanted to ask about the audio clip. You mentioned that there's discussions and things like that. Can you say if the recording was going when the murder happened?
I would say I can't divulge that just to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Resources, you said you've never seen so many resources, FBI, ATF, local, state, federal authorities all coming in. I mean, you had all those people coming from Quantico and try to help with the behavioral analysis, and that was also interesting in the beginning. Did that help that? Can you say if the recording was going when the murder happened?
I would say I can't divulge that just to protect the integrity of the investigation.
Resources, you said you've never seen so many resources, FBI,
I mean, this lady's asking great
state,
questions.
federal authorities
Yeah.
all coming in. I mean, you had all those people coming from Quantico and try to help with the behavioral analysis, and that was also interesting in the beginning. Did that help? Did that bring you guys maybe to a stage where you think you kind of know more about this guy?
Well, I think so. The FBI's brought their behavioral analysis unit to give us more information. We utilize social media, people just, looking at social media. Like I said, it's bad, but we can also gather a lot of information about people from the social media. Our digital media recovery specialists that, would get all the information off of computers for us and cell phones. And yeah, it's just a ton of resources that we were able to utilize through state, local, and federal.
Was her cell phone, I mean, are you surprised he didn't try to take the cell phone or take any evidence with him?
Was I surprised
That he didn't try to take it? I mean, you would think that if that had, maybe he didn't know that they were recording, but
Yeah,
I think he would leave that.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, nothing surprises me anymore after doing this job for a while, but, who knows what he was thinking or what he knew. We don't know that, so.
But it was all pretty, you didn't have to go searching through the woods. All that stuff was kind of left in that area, right?
That's a fair statement, the general area.
Then going to tips, you've had thousands of tips, thousands of dollars in reward money. How many people have you guys interviewed?
Well, I would say probably thousands of people. Depends on what you consider an interview. A lot of people may say that's a little smaller, but we did area canvas, so we interviewed probably 600 people that were driving through the area. We stopped, talked to them. We've contacted numerous people to talk to them, and I would consider those interviews. So as far as formal, if you're audio video recording somebody, is that a formal interview? Probably 400 or 500-ish. But that we have talked to thousands of people on this case.
The last thing, Do you think that he was from Delphi?
You know, I really don't know. I think
Because Texas Girl probably believes it's Garrett Kurtz and that he's in jail. That's why she's saying that.
for obvious reasons, I think he had to know the area. Was he from here, visiting, or been here? I mean, I don't know. But you mentioned earlier the terrain and that area that this incident occurred. For somebody just to go out there and be able to underage. But that we have talked to thousands of people on this case.
The last thing, do you think that he was from Delphi?
You know, I really don't know. I think for obvious reasons, I think he had to know the area. Was he from here, visiting, or been here? I mean, I don't know. But you mentioned earlier the terrain and that area that this incident occurred. For somebody just to go out there and be able to do what he did and leave, you would think he either got real lucky and walked the right way to get out with nobody seeing him, or drove or flew or who knows how he left the scene, or he knew the area. So
Was the weapon left at the scene?
I don't want to answer that at this time. So
What was that question?
Pretty much everything.
I think or drove or flew or who knows how he left the scene, or he knew the area. So
Was the weapon left at the scene?
I don't want to
So was the weapon left at the scene, and he won't answer that question.
answer that at this time. So
Anything else you want to add? I already asked you pretty much everything.
I think so. I think that's it.
I got one question.
Sure.
For the image to be captured on the phone, was there prior video of the girls together before that, or do you think they felt danger from this person, as that's why she recorded that clip of him?
Both. There were pictures and they went out there to take pictures.
See, look at that. That's what I've been telling you guys. See, they have the phone, and on the phone, there's other video of Abby and Libby hanging out together. And there's other photos that we haven't seen. We've seen the 2 Snapchat images merely because they were uploaded to Snapchat. That's the only reason we get to see those. Had they not been uploaded to Snapchat, we would never have had those 2. And to be honest, I don't think I could have ever came up with the flow of the crime, because those were key in that. And the video, maybe when they released the suspect image video, you could assume that, but it was nice to be able to have a continual motion across the bridge. Okay, but there's other video on that camera, and there's other photographs on that camera of them having fun. We just don't get to see that. Now, you wonder if there's maybe other video of when the suspect's way across the bridge, something like that. But of course you can't tell who he is at that point.
Pictures on the bridge, and there was pictures and video, but it appears that, and this has been said before, that Liberty had enough senses to realize that something wasn't right, and she started that video because she felt uncomfortable. Both girls were uncomfortable, and I think that's why. But they were out there taking pictures with the phone and videos. So
Is the clip like several minutes long?
I don't know exactly how long it is, but
I mean, it's weird. I would be so interested just to see all of the video and all of the images of that day. That's it. So anyways, that's it right there.
Did she shut it off, or was it just?
Oh, yeah.
I don't want to talk about how that.
Oh, he asked, did you... Oh, yeah, that's right. There was I think there is something important right at the end here. Hold on.
Like several minutes long?
I don't know exactly how long it is, but
It's a lot longer than the 10 seconds.
I don't want to talk about how that right now.
Yeah, and see, I can tell that actually bothered him a lot because he's thinking about it. She said, did she turn it off? Or he goes, I just, and you can see the look on his face. It drops. Any kind of smiles that he might have had just went away.
Right now. Right, yeah.
Okay, that's fine.
And then it's like, oh,
Sorry.
jeez. Yeah. You can see that little look on his face, and then right at the end he was being polite again. But anyways, it was pretty, absolutely, there's a lot of information in that, okay? So if you actually paid attention, you might have got something out of it. All right. So what we're going to do now is do the phones. All right. If I can figure out how to get that to work now. Yeah. Come on, phone. Yeah, right there. So there's the number on the screen. It's kind of hard to see. Let me see if I can. I'll put it on. I'll just put mine back up there again. All right, there you go. So how the hell's chat going? Oh yeah, you know what? I'm probably really loud, so now I got to turn down two different things. Okay. That's the normal volume of my voice right there. Okay. I don't know if it was being affected that much by those two volume knobs, but I bet it was. So you just got to see an interview that a lot of people haven't seen because it doesn't fit a lot of the narratives that a lot of the YouTubers want to show you, so they never play that one. It's like, ooh, yeah, gosh darn it, ooh, hoo, yeah, wow, okay, yeah, I can't show that because I want to say this. So anyways, there is the number to call right there if you want. Let me see if there's is there anybody in there? Oh, there's already one in there. Okay, here we go. All right, 304, you're on the air.
What's going on, Gray?
Not much.
So I'm glad you played that video at the beginning because it has to do with the call that I'm making right now.
Yeah.
All right. Misinformation. I'm not calling anyone out for misinformation. I'm just saying there's inconsistencies sometimes, and it's good to give the people a chance to clear them up, you know?
Mm-hmm. What do you mean? Like who?
So here's the thing. Last night, phone call. 2 hours and 3 minutes into your phone call with the Dozer guys. You told them to hold on for like 20 seconds. When you muted your mic, I think they believed that they were, pushed to the side. No one could hear them.
Yeah, I could tell that they were talking when I came back.
Yeah.
So I was like, oh, what's good? I didn't hear them.
I meticulously went through every detail of that, so check out my findings. So, when you told him to hold on, the first guy said to hold on for 20 seconds. The next guy says, it's inaudible, and then you hear, whisper it in my ear. And then the singer, Ken, goes, Galati, Galati, okay. And then, as you come back, he is saying to the other guy, so Dozer, the band name. Anyway, so I took that information that made me sketched out and I did some research. The band Dozer, okay, the only band I could find named Dozer was made in Switzerland in '95, which maybe their band had no footprint on the internet.
Well, they could have spelled it differently too, but yeah, I already know who these people. I mean, they've sent me images. I've seen the band and all that.
Okay, well, check this part out. This is the more important part. I'll just get to the point.
Yeah.
The only death certificate that I could find for a Mark Galati was Mark Robert Galati. Now, the death certificate for 2019, because they said that he died in March. Yeah. Anyway, the only death certificate, I'm not a professional, but the only death certificate I could find was for a Mark Robert Galati, born September 58 and died April 2nd of 2019. Mm-hmm. He was born in Baltimore, went to the University of Delaware, and died in Apopka, Florida. And not a professional here, but I could find no ties to the Midwest. And, yeah, that's the only Mark Galati that I could find that died this year. So they've been calling the last 2 days. Maybe they'll clear that up for me. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, that was the time frame that they said, though. Didn't they say April?
He said March 2019. I listened to it like 50 times.
Well, it's right around there. But yeah, Maybe they just
But
didn't have
the
it
thing is,
memorized.
This Mark Galati, what's that?
Maybe they just didn't have the exact time memorized, but they were like, yeah, it was like, March, April, something like that.
Exactly, but this guy has a documented life from his chiropractic business to his insurance selling in Florida. That's what I'm saying. I'm not calling him out. I hope that is the guy, and I hope they close this.
Yeah, I mean, I can't
That would be
control
the
who's
greatest
calling
thing ever.
in. I can't, if somebody calls in and has a
Yeah,
story to
yeah.
tell. That's why I don't put a face on the screen, because I don't know what the hell they're talking about. I mean, it could just
Yeah,
be.
hopefully.
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sorry.
No, that was it. That's all I had.
Oh, okay. I hate the delay because I talk over you, and I hate that. Anyway, so yeah, I hope they could clear those things up if they call back, because I don't know, it seems shady. I'm not 100%.
He just typed in. He just typed in the chat that Mark Allen, died March 9th, 2019.
Okay, well, I can't locate a death certificate. I'm not a professional, but
Right.
maybe he could give us some visuals of this existence of this guy that isn't just words.
Well, yeah,
Yeah.
if you'd watched the show
And-
last night, Beth, you'd know, or the replay, you would have seen that this was a call that came in. Yeah. So, anyways, yeah, I don't know. He
That would
just
be cool.
typed in. What you should do is go into the chat, and you and him can converse back and forth, see if you can get more information from him. I don't want to
All
be.
right,
I don't want to relay.
well-
I don't want to relay it back and forth a million times.
No. That's not what I was having you do. I just wanted to put my concerns out there that it's possible that could be misinformation, and if the police got that tip and it wasn't real, it would bother me if they wasted a minute on it. And I'm not saying he's a liar. I'm just saying
Yeah.
there's inconsistencies. Maybe he could clear them up. But
Yeah. Well, it
you
might
go
not.
ahead
It
with
could also
another
not be. Might not be like misinformation means that. I don't know. I mean, it could just be that they think this, and maybe they have a date
I
wrong
could have
here.
spelled
and
it
there.
wrong.
Yeah, I don't
You
know.
know?
He did write it down, so you can
Yeah.
go up and scroll up and see how he spelled it.
All right, I will do so, and I will continue my research. But you have a good day. I enjoyed the show earlier. I'm enjoying this one, and I'll talk to you next time.
Okay, cool. Thanks for calling in.
Yep,
Check it.
bye.
All right, bye. Yeah, well, that's the key. You guys got to watch all the nights of the shows. That's why we do 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? So, it's been out there to watch all day today, too. You could have watched it before this show. Episode 3, day 3 of the call-ins. All right, so who's calling in now? The lines are open. Gareth. I don't know who Gareth. Oh yeah, let me get some more of the clips. Oh yeah, that's the one. That's the one with Beth in it. I gotta get it off the screen. Ah! She'd freak out. There's probably just a lot of video that looks like this on their on that camera, just shots, But man, I would love to see those other videos. Man, I bet you they've poured through those, trying to see if they can find something. I'm not that anal about mowing my lawn every 5 seconds. Let's see. See, look at people go out there and they're not scared to be out there. So when they went out to the bridge that day, there's some girls just standing on platform 1 there. I don't know who these people are, but hey, you're on TV. Hey. Or the internet, I guess. Yeah, so this is exactly what it looked like when they were out there. Perhaps a little bit water, a little bit higher. I bet the temperature was pretty similar that day. I don't think Beth was out there on this day. But what do you mean local or out of the country? What does that mean? Who are clearly suspects? Well, I guess we probably got all called out, you know? Maybe all the people that were actually maybe going to call in or willing to call in on this case have already done so. One thing I did notice is that you can see a hell of a lot farther than I was thinking you could see. You know, like this shot right here. See how you can actually see this bank over there, and they're not too far, much further around that corner there. Let me go to the Delphi case. Or actually. So there's the bridge right there, and that shot would have been right here. So you can kind of see almost all the way around to about right there, and the crime scene's right there. You know? So I thought it would be a little harder to see all the way over there. So I will say that that's a little different than I was thinking. I'm hoping she pans over there left, getting further down there. Well, your theory is probably as logical as anybody else, Raquel. Well, they went. Just call in, Simply Done. Go ahead and call in. Don't worry about it. All right. 954, you're on the air.
Hey, this is Slim Dog. How are you, sir?
Hey, it's Slim Dog.
Hey, enjoy the show, listen all the time. You know, one thing that's been going around in my head lately is partially based off of some of the early leaks from David Erskine and then some of the confirmation, unfortunately, with some of the video, some of the leaks from the funeral. It sounded like what happened to Libby was maybe grossly disproportionate to what happened to the other girl. And I just wonder, could there be any possibility that we're thinking it's random, that it's not? And if it isn't, I keep going back and forth in my head. It's like, what would be the motivation?
Yeah. Yeah, well, that's true. That would be the thought if it's not random. But here, just hold on a second. Look at the screen right here. See this guy walking? That's kind of how a normal person would walk on there if they hadn't been there very much. They weren't very comfortable. Right? He's a little bit slow. See how he's kind of looking at each railroad tie? Okay. Yeah, I mean, the thing is you're always gonna. I mean, if it was intentional, then of course, you know, like if it was a planned hit, you know, then there would have to be a reason for it. But it just seems, what would that be? You know, I mean, then you have to come up with crazy conspiracy theories based on just rumors. That's the problem with that.
Yeah, no, I know, and I don't really want to go there, and then you listen to some of the things about the Derek and things like that, and I don't want to be disrespectful along those lines. So I just think about that, and I'm just trying to think of different ways, a different approach to this, and along those lines, seeing where that leads you. But I don't know. That would have to be someone. I mean, the thing is, that person was, they had to be local because they know it so well and the way they planned that out. So that's another thing that makes me lean towards, man, they knew it. And if they knew the area, they probably know the family, or maybe they were caught up with something,
I don't know.
That we just have no.
I think when you have a
into.
town of like 3,000 people, everybody doesn't know everybody. Like everybody always says, oh, everybody knows everybody. No, you know a lot of people. You might know a lot more than you would in a bigger town. But everybody doesn't know everybody.
Yeah, fair.
Yeah. So the thing is
fair point.
they, if the person knew the area, that means he was able to kind of figure out, what to do to set up the trap too. So it wouldn't really matter. Like, I think the odds of him going there, knowing that girls are going to be there, and the girls just miraculously falling into a perfect trap scenario is really remote. I mean, think about that for a minute. So he goes, okay, I'm going to go after Libby and Abby. And he goes there, and my God, they're the only two people that separated themselves from the other kids that might have been there. Right? Makes no sense. So to me, it seems more likely that he went there, and even though he had an intent to kill somebody, they were a target of opportunity, and yet they were still in, his target at some point. Right when he saw that they were fitting into the trap, they became his target, but they weren't. Yeah. I don't know. It just seems like that would be really remote chance of that. But.
Yeah, that's true, and maybe that's part of the reason why the FBI is involved, right? Because it is just something really horrific and random, and I don't know. Just thoughts of back. I hope they solve this. It's just horrific. So.
Yeah.
I don't know. Just kind of think of different angles to it, or.
It's not bad to think of different angles, but you have to, again, when you're doing that, you got to think of all the other things, too. And then if it's something that's like, wow, that's not very likely, then you can spend a lot of time on it if you want to, but at that point, that's when I go to something else. It might end up being something really crazy that none of us really thought of, or maybe there were people that thought of it, but it'll be pure luck. There was no information that was going to lead somebody to one of these crazy theories. Like, let's say it turns out it really was somebody that was in the Illuminati, right? Well, what evidence? But what evidence was there? None, right? So if they said that, it was just luck when it turned out to be that, right? Yeah, I haven't seen this video in a long time. This one's pretty good.
That was a really good interview. That was a really good replay. That was very informative.
Yeah.
And I also think back to just from watching your different videos and then the interviews there. Man, that person knew that place so well, and how could that not be linked to somebody local or someone who lives over there? How could that not be a tie-in? And that's what makes me think maybe it's not some random serial killer, that's going across the country, but then it's unexplainable that they couldn't place it to someone that was very familiar with the area. So I don't know.
Yeah.
Oh well. Well, thanks for your time, Greg.
Well, hey, thanks for calling in. Well, we'll figure. Hopefully, one of these days, someone will actually have an answer. Okay.
Yeah.
God, I just want this case solved. All right.
I know.
Yeah. Thanks for calling in, man.
Thank you.
Appreciate it. Bye.
Take care.
All right, 910. You're on the air.
Hey, Gray, it's Wicked.
Hey, it's Wicked. How's it going?
How are you?
Not too bad.
I've got a question from one of our people in our chat, one of our subs.
Mm-hmm.
Ziggy, he cannot talk because he's got no voice box. So he is asking a question, and I'm going to go ahead and give you the question since he can't talk. Okay, he is asking, in one of your maps, you showed you have a pine tree in the middle of the bridge area. Could you please explain that?
In one of my maps, I have a pine tree in one of my what? Because that's just where it was a symbol on Google Earth because it's a. Are people really going to be that technical? Like, oh, it's a pine tree. It really should have been a. That's just where the forked tree was. It was just a icon they had in Google Earth and put a you know. Do I really have to explain that? That's crazy. It's where the forked tree was. I just put the icon in Google Earth.
Okay.
That was for a tree there. Okay. Unfortunately, I wish they had the actual shape of the, that type of tree, and then Okay. What's any other one?
Okay.
What other questions?
Okay. He says, "Oh, I didn't realize that was the fork tree." So you answered his question.
Oh,
There
well,
you go.
I'm just saying it's just a pine tree because that's the only icon they had in Google Earth's library that represented a tree. So I just put it there as a tree. Normally people say, "Oh,
Okay.
it's a tree." They don't go, "Whoa, it's a pine tree." That's what it's
Yeah.
overthinking something. It's a representative of
Yeah.
a tree. You see, that's what I'm trying to.
Yeah, it's easy. It's easy to do though when you're trying to, think
Yeah.
about different stuff like this. But I
Yeah.
was just calling because he cannot talk. So
Well, what's the other
I was-
question? Any more? That was it?
that was it. He just wanted to know what that tree was.
Wow. Okay. Wow. We really figured some shit out today, man. That.
Well, I just wanted to make sure he was heard because he couldn't talk. So
I mean, like the phone doesn't
That's-
work, or what do you mean?
no, he physically can't talk. He had.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Cancer.
Oh, wow.
Right,
Sorry.
and-
That sucks.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of where my brother was headed, but it sounds like he got miraculously. The treatment seems to be working at this point, but.
Well, I'm so glad to hear about Andy. I'm glad that's going that way for him.
Yeah.
My grandfather had cancer of the larynx, and he didn't have a voice box for many years. And I know what Ziggy's talking about. It's when they talk, they use this little thing under their chin, and
Right.
it kind of sounds like a robot.
Yeah, I've seen
And
those
you don't have-
commercials. I've seen the commercials with the anti-smoking commercials where the lady they're talking. It sounds like a robot kind of.
Yeah, right. And it's sometimes it's hard to understand what they're saying if you've not been around it. So, but I just wanted to make sure Ziggy got heard.
All right. Well, hey, appreciate you doing that. But yes,
Yeah,
it's
well,
just
I'm
a representative
I'm
of a
pro-
tree. Okay.
Okay, that's fine. Make
Right.
sure he was heard. That's all.
Right next to the T. But I thought, wow, if I had a better graphical representations of everything, right? The two cameras. That's what they actually had, little cameras in the library, and then here's a trail, people hiking on a trail, then another trail,
Right.
and then a P
Yeah.
for parking I put there. So, all right.
Well, yeah. Okay, then that's what he wanted to know. So you answered his question.
All right. Well, thanks for calling in. Appreciate it.
All right, Gray. Sorry I don't have more for you, but I'm not up to par.
Oh.
I'm not up to par myself.
That's all right. I got another call anyway, so I'll do that one. All right. Thanks.
All right.
Appreciate it.
All righty,
bye.
Gray.
Bye.
All right. Bye.
All right, Ziggy. That's what it is. It's just representing a tree. All right. And then 317. Isn't that Indiana? 317, you're on the
Hey.
air. Yeah.
Well, I don't know how many
Oh, this is-
317s you have. What's up, Daddy-O?
There's all kinds of calls coming in from there. Hey, it's Beth. Baba.
You are in a lot of trouble now.
I'm not in any trouble. Thanks, Cairo. Thanks, Pam. And thanks, Simply. Oh, hold on. I have to read what they said. Please thank Paul Dickerson for clearing that up for me. He cleared up the inconsistencies in the death. R.I.P. Mark. And then thank you, Pam Hurst and Simply Done. I think I can turn it back on now since there's. Well, I'm doing calls. So, anyways, what's up?
Nothing. I'm just calling in. Everybody wanted me to call in, so I'm calling in.
You're just calling in to call in, but you had nothing to say?
Well, I've got a lot to say.
Well, say what you want to say.
There's a lot of it, but hey.
Well, say what you want to say then, damn it. I mean,
Well, I don't know. You ask me questions.
what do you mean? I'm the
I'm
show.
tired.
I mean, it wasn't like it was like you're the you. I don't think
I
there's
don't have
many.
any questions. I mean, I know all the answers.
I don't think I've
but,
ever
you
seen
know.
a show where a caller calls in and then tells the host to start asking them questions.
Well, what
Yeah.
do you want to talk about?
Well, tell us about how it was when you were at the bridge, because you're the one that took the, like you were the one that actually took the shots where you realized that white nodule thing can only be seen if you're down low and at the end of the bridge. Platform 6 is where that destructed side rails were. So that was pretty
right.
cool.
I mean, it's very deceiving. You know, I mean, when you're standing at one end and looking down it kind of messes with your head. But when you get on it and walk across it, you know, it kind of like it'll take your breath away a little bit. But if you're not used to it, I wouldn't recommend anyone doing it. You have to be very sure on your feet and be able to. I mean, it'll make you dizzy. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a term for that. I don't know what you call it, but if someone would get out there and say they get 50 foot across it, and all of a sudden you start getting dizzy, and you fall, you're dead because you would get impaled by a tree.
Like
So-
vertigo or something. Yeah.
Yeah, a visual vertigo. You know what I'm saying? It can mess with you a little bit. I mean, if it messed with me, it would mess with a lot of people. But there are people that can actually have never been there before and walk right across that and not have a problem at all. And I've tried to tell people that before. They think it's some big deal that someone could cross that bridge and never have been there before. I don't think that's true, because any steel worker or
Yeah.
any construction worker that works up high, they would never have a problem with that. They could probably walk it with their eyes closed. And
I think
it's not
people
an
that are
issue.
just coordinated could do it. I mean, even if you're not coordinated, you could do it.
Well,
Yeah, I don't think you have to be.
no,
I don't think you
it's
have
a
to be.
different
Nah,
mindset.
I don't agree. I don't think you have to be a special person.
Well, jump
like
up on your roof.
like
I don't know
Bonnie's.
what- listen,
I can be on my roof.
listen.
Like Bonnie's husband, he doesn't look like he does it, but he got across. You know, he just made it
Listen.
across.
Listen,
I think people want to
Jump
make
up
it
on
seem
your
like they're a
roof.
little bit special because they have like.
no, you're missing. my
Everybody
point.
goes across that bridge, though. It doesn't. Girls
no,
go
not
across
everybody
it.
does go across the
Well,
bridge.
that's just because they don't want to. But
You're
it's not
wrong.
hard. It's not hard to cross it, though. That's the thing. It's not hard to cross it.
Well, I think you need to get on a plane and come to Indiana, and I want to video you.
Yeah, if you don't get
across that
nervous
bridge.
doing it, but it's not hard to cross it. If you don't have
Okay,
the
I'm just
if you don't have the
okay,
fear of
right.
heights like that,
All
it's not
right.
hard. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, we're going to take donations in Gray's chat now.
So you
send down
so you think
on a
Cats
phone.
you think Cats is some like really that guy's got a lot of like he's just some kind of really hardcore he's
Who?
crossed it. You know that Cats guy, Katz?
Well, I don't know. Who knows what he's done in the past? Maybe he's done construction work.
Yes, everybody. You
I'm
can
not
only
saying
cross the
anybody's
bridge if you've
special.
done everybody listen. You can only cross the bridge if
Oh.
you've done construction work, or you've been in
You're
a
missing my
in a
point.
circus
That's
at
not
some
what I
point in your
said.
life. Yeah. This is how me
You're
and Beth
missing my
are all the way. By the way, everybody. This is how we
Yeah,
are
this
all
is
day.
How we, right. It's a big ass fight constantly. So.
Yee! That's what I'm talking
Right.
about. If I ever go
That's why
there.
they want to call in, because it's like, okay, it's on now.
Yeah, but the problem is you make sort of these blanket statements like, yes, only somebody that
No,
works
no,
construction and stuff
no.
like that. The thing is, in reality,
No.
anybody can cross it if they just don't have the. Look at Abby crossed the bridge. She didn't.
course
She'd
she
never
did.
been across it before, but she went all the way. She went over halfway across without even the fear that I need to get to the other side. So.
Well, right.
Right,
And
that's what I'm
you
saying.
do when you're
Anybody-
young, but I'm talking
right.
about. Hey,
Yeah.
listen to me. What I'm telling you is,
It won't
someone
mean it's
could
true.
Cross that.
Yeah.
Would you let me talk? Someone could cross that bridge that's never been there before, that's used to height, and not have a problem with it. I crossed it and didn't have a problem with it
Right.
because I'm used to height.
But it
What
doesn't.
I'm
But
saying.
I get what you're saying. It
But
was
it
it was
doesn't have
easier
to
for
be-
you. It was easier for you
It
because you're
doesn't have
used to
to be
height, right?
planned.
It was easier for you because you're used to height, right? But the thing, and the reality of it is even if you're not used to height, it's easy to cross. Like, it's not like he does it, because you could be somebody that's not used to height, like you don't do height all the time, but it just doesn't bother you to get on the bridge. So you go across it. Now, somebody who's really scared, looking off both sides, they might have a harder time doing it. But just any random schmo can cross that bridge. It doesn't matter.
Okay, that's why I said everyone needs to send your butt.
No, but I'm not saying, yeah, but you're making it, yeah.
No. I'll drive you to Delphi. I want to see you do it.
Well, that's great. I mean, here's the
Okay.
thing. Well, they have it shut down now.
Now that we have that over with, let's move on.
Yeah, but no, but see, you didn't hear what I said though, because what I actually said was that anybody can cross the bridge as long as they're not scared of heights. That's it.
Well, no, I mean you can get vertigo.
No, but if
I mean there's
no,
people
but that was
that aren't afraid
yeah.
of heights.
Oh Jesus! Yeah, right.
Well,
One in
there's heights.
1,000
I
people.
mean,
You're right.
you
They
know.
get vertigo. You're right. 1 in 1,000 people get vertigo. So they might be one of those
I
people.
cannot wait for you to get to Indianapolis.
Didn't you see that video? There was 4 girls out in the middle of
Have you
it.
ever bungee jumped before? Have you ever bungee jumped before?
Yeah, because here it is,
That would be
everybody.
a great place for you to try it.
If you haven't bungee jumped, everybody, you couldn't cross that bridge.
Mm-hmm. That's not what I'm saying.
Well, that's what it sounds like. You kind of have these generalizations. All I know is a lot of the people that I've seen that have crossed the bridge are people that you go, oh, wow, God, anybody can do it. Right? That's what I'm trying to say.
All right.
Now,
Well,
the thing is, if I'm somebody that's scared of heights, let's say I'm really scared of heights, right? Then maybe it would be hard for me, but most people aren't. That's the thing. So I'm just saying, it's in general. Like if you're not scared of heights, you can just get on the bridge and go across. And it looks like you can get across. Like in what was the time that you did it in?
Coming back on purpose just to see how fast it could happen. It was 3 minutes and 35 seconds. But that doesn't matter. I mean, that's just me, and that was just screwing around just to see.
Yeah.
You know, for general purposes. But I'm short, and so, you know, everybody I was with was shorter, and you can only walk so fast when you have short legs, so.
Yeah, so somebody that was taller, like a guy that was, like, okay, here we go, everybody. A construction worker that's 6'4",
Oh, God.
he could have got across that bridge in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Don't you think?
Well, he's not 6'4", we know that, right?
I wasn't talking about him now. I was saying a construction worker that's 6'4", he could get across the bridge in 2:30, right?
Let's get back on the subject.
No, I talk about what I want to talk about on my show. So right there, if somebody was 6'4" and they want to walk across the bridge, how fast do you think they could do it if they were really moving quick? Because you said you were short and you did it in 3 minutes and something.
Right.
Right. So how fast do you think someone like that could get across?
A minute less.
Well, there you go. A minute less, everybody. Awesome. So what else you got?
Now, well, what do you got?
Well, I don't know. I was just waiting for people to call in that had things to, thoughts that they had.
Well, I don't know. Do you have?
I mean, I've said all I can say.
Profiling. Who do you think this guy is? What's your profile on him?
Yeah, I don't. When you say profile, I just think he's somebody that possibly had killed before, but then it could have been his first one. I don't know, but it's this person's he's not a typical killer type, obviously. I think he looks to me like he's between 35 and 45. I don't think the 20, when you look at that picture, however, they're saying he's 18 to 40. See, when they're saying he's 18 to 40, that to me means they have no clue how old this guy is. I mean, 18 to 40 is massive.
One picture looks old and one picture looks young, so.
Yeah, so now they're saying, hey, he's between 18 and 40, but they put out a sketch where he looks 18. So you kind of think like, wow, they don't have a clue how old this person is. And they're saying,
I think somebody out there knows who he is. but it's someone that, I mean, I've had friends, not a lot, but a few people that I've known through my life that have been in abuse situations, and there are women that are out there that men absolutely 100% keep quiet. If they have children, either they're not in school or, I mean, they're pretty much not in school. They keep track of them wherever they go, whatever they do. They monitor what they watch on TV. I mean, they have no connection to the outside world. And I think just my feeling is the person that did this is very, very controlling. That's pretty obvious.
No, everybody says that, but nobody really knows.
But I don't think that the person, if he's from anywhere around there, like within 25 miles, if there's another person that's with him, like a wife, I don't think she's even seen the media.
Right.
In my opinion, because and if she has, she's scared to say anything because this guy has controlled her for a long, long time.
Right, but you're saying that you think the guy's really, but you're saying the guy is really controlling merely because he controlled them off the bridge. But that's how anybody would do that. So you're controlling person, you'd have to.
That would murder two little girls like
that doesn't mean he's controlling. It means he's a psycho. No, it
person.
doesn't mean that at all. It means he's psycho. That it filled a fantasy that he had. No, it means that he filled a fantasy that he had. It doesn't mean he's controlling. He just wanted to fulfill a fantasy he had. So you're putting an adjective in there that's we don't know. Right. Well, you'd have no proof at all that he's controlling. All he did was take his gun out, force the girls down the hill, and you could say, well, look, he controlled him, he controlled him. But that's what you would do, right? That's what you would do. You'd take out a gun, control him, and then he did what he did, but he was satisfying the urge he had. You know, it's hard to say if he's...
but you can't say that he isn't controlling either. So.
Well, yeah, but that's the whole thing, is you're saying he is, and I'm saying, well, we don't have a clue whether he is or not, right?
That's what I'm telling you, that's what I feel like.
No, there is proof that he had a gun. There is proof that he had a gun. Sorry, Nancy.
Well, yeah, I know that.
Well, no, I'm reading the comments. You got to read the comments.
Oh, well, I can't read the comments and talk to you at the same time.
Right, it's hard, but people bitch if I don't read them. Grady, did you see what I said? Oh, no, I didn't. I was trying to do a show. Okay, all right.
Basically, what I'm saying is if there is someone out there, the person that can turn him in, this is just my feeling, they can't do it, either because they don't know what he did, or they might know, but they really, they have no way of doing it. Or they're afraid.
Yeah.
I don't think it's just because they're like trying to hide him. And the whole theory is about the dope and all this crap. I'm not buying any of that. They would all turn on each other. Everybody knows that. Nobody, no. And as far as all the family members concerned, I'm so sick and tired of hearing, let's salute this person and that person. This has been done now for 2 years.
Yeah.
And if any of it that you've read on the internet is even remotely true, they would have already been arrested. I mean, people need to just stop.
It's all these new people. It's all these new YouTubers. Yeah, like, oh wow, they might have talked about the case 2 years ago one time, and then now they're bringing it up again, and they realize, wow, after that press conference, they want to get involved with it. And it's ludicrous because they're doing what they do is they're setting back well, hold on, let me finish what I'm saying, because you're doing when people interrupt. People don't like it. So here's what I'm saying is what these YouTubers are doing is they're going back. They're setting the case back like 2 years. Literally. They're going back to the same bullshit that was being discussed right at the very beginning of the case. It's incredible. And they think it's all funny and cute. It's ridiculous.
Well, what is sad is when the people that have been around that I know for years go back to the same stuff, you're not going to find anything new. And everything that you're finding, it's not helping shit.
I know.
It really isn't. It's driving everybody insane. At this point, I think there needs to be a group, Delphi 101, So anybody that is actually new and not a troll can go in there and understand what has happened without driving everybody else nuts. Because some of these people that are new have to understand that there have been people in these groups that make up 50,000 names, and on purpose they go in these groups and start saying the dumbest crap you could ever come up with just to drive the people nuts. And it's just stupid.
That's right. Well, someone said, how do we know they had a gun? Well, all I can tell you is that I've heard, there's something being propped up with the right hand there, right? And there's other information that I've heard described, and I'm not going to say what that was, but that I know that I'm almost 100% sure that they believe that a gun was used right near the down the hill part. The gun came out and then get down the hill. Okay. So you can sit there and go, how do we know? How do we know? I get to know too. I want to know too. Well, you should have done the same sort of. It was hard to get contact with all these different people and communicate with them over all this time. Okay. So unfortunately, I can't always say every single thing. All right.
Well,
Anyways.
And the thing is what everybody appears, they think that it's the gun and he's left-handed. I think that is his jacket pocket, because his right hand is underneath his coat.
Yeah,
and I think that's the flap on the jacket. That's not a 9mm or what everybody says it is, or maybe it is. But he's got his hand underneath his coat. I don't think it is. If you watch the movement of the actual video in progress, you can tell. I mean, it's moving and bending. It's not a gun that he's left-handed and going to grab it. I mean, that's another one of those rumors that. Yeah. And who cares? Who gives a shit? I mean.
Yeah, it seems like it's right underneath. Yeah, like there's the blue jacket and then his hands underneath that. Maybe inside, if that's a brown shirt. I don't know if that's a fanny pack, because sometimes some shots, even on the video, it's flat. And then sometimes there's a little bit of something going. Nobody knows what the hell that thing is. It looks like it's just sort of a shirt tail or something, like of maybe even the hoodie, the same color. It's a little bit. It looks similar. So who knows? But whatever it is, his hand is underneath that jacket. It's not in the blue jacket pocket. Right.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, hell, they say that like his hand, his wrist is like 8 inches long. It's like, come on, you guys.
Oh, have you seen that one? Have you seen that one? There's that one still shot where it kind of does look like a hand with a thumb. The whole brown part, and they made his hand was like the size of 3 baseball mitts. Is what they're trying to.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
It's hilarious.
But in reality, it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
It really doesn't matter. In the end, someone, if that is somebody's brother, if that's somebody's husband, and they see it, they're going to know it's them. I would know if it was my brother or my husband just by looking at it. I don't even have to hear the voice. I would know just by looking at that picture. And that's what law enforcement is looking for, because someone knows. I just don't think they've seen it, or they're too afraid to say anything. And I gave my reason earlier why I think they're afraid to say something if they have seen it. Don't you agree?
With what? Why they didn't say what? I'm trying to open that thing up for you.
Are you not listening to me and reading chat?
Well, you're talking to them. I'm trying to open up the video so we can talk about this thing. Hold on a second.
I'm not reading chat. I can't see it.
Well, I'm not. I'm trying to open up the... just say what you said again, and I'll try to listen as I'm looking this up. Oh, geez. See, that's like a typical... Right there. You see that? Jeez. No, I already said it, so no way. God, it's just...
Well, no, you can watch it on the playback. Or listen on the playback.
Forget it. Where's that one shot? I'm looking for the one. It's crazy. Yeah, right. I think this is one of the ones they released. Let's see. Where was it?